a staff member of the Indian Test team, currently in England for the 5-match Test series, now testing positive as well for COVID-19. This comes hours after wicketkeeper-batsman Rishabh Pant was reported to have tested COVID positive. Moreover, 3 coaching assistants of the team have now been isolated, and none of these staff members will be travelling to Durham with the team for a practice match. Now, remember, Team India was actually on a break after the World Test Championships. Many players, in fact, were seen attending events like the Euro and Wimbledon during that break. They're meant to reassemble in Durham in a bio bubble, which is meant to be self-contained. India is expected to play 5 test matches against England starting the 4th of August. But with these significant absentees now, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Let me take this right across to my colleague Rika Roy, who's joining us at this point. We're also now being joined by Ashok Malhotra, former cricketer and ICA president, and we also have Vijay Lokapalli, senior sports journalist, with us. We'll go across to them in a moment. But Rika, first question very quickly to you. You know, we've been inundated with those images online of players and indeed support staff actually attending very crowded events at a time when we know that cases are rising in the United Kingdom. What has this really meant?
Ankita, really a couple of things here. Firstly, this is what we are calling new normal, and it is not just the Indian cricket team. Last week we have seen the English cricket team also being hit by COVID-19 crisis, and the entire squad, practically a chunk of the squad had to be changed to play against the Pakistan cricket team. Now, what we see here are pictures of Indian cricketers going and enjoying a football match at the Wembley Stadium between England and Germany. They were on a break. BCCI wanted them to get away from cricket, refresh themselves after that loss against New Zealand in the World Test Championship final, and come back. However, the questions that remain is whether BCCI had warned them at that time, before going to the matches, that they should not be going to crowded events. We do know now that Jay Shah has written to the team members saying, do not go to Wembley Stadium to attend Euro, do not go to Wimbledon, but those events are over now. And clearly they were all over, England. They were not just in these 2 places. They are in crowded areas like Oxford Street. They were in East End in London. Several members of the team were exploring UK during this break. After the break, they were meant to have undergone 2 tests conducted by the NHS, the National Health Service, for BCCI, and reassembled. So the players, as we speak, have reassembled. They're on a bus to Durham, but 4 members of the Indian team, one of them being Rishabh Pant, the player, 1 staff member, and 3 others have not boarded that bus. Rishabh, of course, testing positive, the team member, the support staff testing positive, 3 others are isolated.
Let me take this across to Ashok Malhotra, who's with us on this program. Ashok Malhotra, Rika describes this as being the new normal. In that sense, then, are we, given that sporting events are happening at a time when we are seeing perhaps the rise of the 3rd COVID wave globally, are these acceptable, quote-unquote, casualties in a sense? 1 player, 1 member of the support staff, a few more people in isolation, but life goes on as usual? Or are there ways of following more stringent COVID protocols that can actually prevent this? Where do you come in on this debate?
I think what you said is stringent. They should have followed that. You cannot be careless, because you are a brand ambassador of the nation, and on top of that, the COVID is all over the world. You can't take it lightly. You can't wish it away. The picture of Rishabh Pant which you're showing is he's there without a mask. It was his responsibility. He's not only responsible for himself. He's responsible for the entire cricket team, maybe the entire nation, and especially after looking at the English cricket team, where they have to field the 2nd or 3rd 11. So somewhere along the line, one bad apple, 1 casualty can affect the entire team, entire program. So that has been undoing. I understand that they have been given a 20 days leave, but they should have been more careful. They should have been more careful that they have to come back.
Having said that then, Ashok Malhotra, is the BCCI shutting the barn door after the cows have fled? Effectively by telling players now that they need to sort of, sending this cautionary note, as it were, asking them to avoid crowds. They were, after all, on a 20-day break. Were these instructions not shared with them before?
I hope so. Honestly, what Mr. Jesha has said is absolutely spot on, but the management should have done it. So the Ravi Shastris and the other management people should have told them, guided them. And I am disappointed with them because they are there. They should know how to run the show. And they know very well this COVID pandemic is very, very effective. It is affecting everybody. All of us want to wish it away, but it is not going away. So it was the responsibility, I would say, of the cricketers, of the management.
Can I just ask a question to Mr.
Go ahead, Rika.
Mr. Lokpally, Mr. Malhotra says that he's disappointed with the team management, but we see the head coach of the Indian cricket team, Ravi Shastri himself at Wimbledon. So clearly they did not disobey any orders from the BCCI, flout any COVID protocol there.
But I think it's very, we are being wise, or we speaking after the event is over. I can't accept one thing, that even Ashok Malhotra, he is not naming the manager. Manager, more than the coach and the players, the manager has a specific role for off-the-field activities, and he should have put things in place. There is a process. Even if you go out, there are certain places you cannot visit, and crowded places definitely not. This is not an under-19 team or under-16 team where they have to be told what they're supposed to do. They are on a tour, and they are very well aware of the cases like the second string England team playing Pakistan. So it's not that they should have been careful. They have to be careful. And here I will blame the manager. Coach may have gone out. The players are going out. I mean, they are all tired of bio bubble. It's very difficult to endure this bio bubble. I can please understand. But the manager has been at fault. I mean, he is the link between the board and the players when you are overseas, and he has let the team down by allowing them such free movement. I mean, going to Wimbledon.
I would actually like Ashok Malhotra to respond to that.
No, Vijay is spot on. When I said management, that means the manager as well. The coach, the manager. And, the entire management team, it was their responsibility. And Ravi going and watching Wimbledon finals, that's icing on the cake. If I may say, everybody, they wanted to be probably seen in a bigger sporting event, so maybe in a Euro or Wimbledon. But that is not a done thing, especially with the...
But having said that, it is a bit problematic. It is a bit problematic, Rika, because here you are playing in a country like the United Kingdom, which has actually laid out this very well-defined COVID strategy, which many might find controversial, which is to let people be maskless, let people attend sporting events, which will obviously, in a sense, be super spreader events, which will see large crowds coming together. And you have the Indian team on a break in between two tournaments where effectively they appear to have not been given very specific instructions about what they had meant to do in that break. So can we really lay the blame at their door?
Well, Ankita, we can't lay the blame squarely on the Indian cricket team. If we are talking about COVID protocols, what are those protocols? They were not given any stringent protocols to follow during this period. As funny as it may sound, when Shubman Gill was injured and he got out of the Indian cricket team, I had spoken to the Indian media manager, and that time he told me that he was not with the men's team, but he was with the women's cricket team, and he was, helping them go through their media activities. Right. So these people clearly, they were going from one bio bubble to another. So I don't think there was any stringent protocol in place, so to say.
Vijay Lokapalli, same question to you. Effectively, you're in a country which is following very different COVID protocols than what we've been used to. Do you believe that's had a role to play here?
I think the player also has to understand. I mean, he is a mature cricketer, whoever, Rishabh Pant or Ravi Shastri or Shubman Gill, whoever it is. when you enter a bio bubble, you are given all the conditions, what the do's and don'ts, and like I said, I will equally blame the player if he has. It is a breach of bio bubble by doing what he has done. If they had been wearing masks, I don't think all these things.
But Mr. Lokpally, he was not in a bio bubble. He was out of the bio bubble. He was not in a bio bubble. He was out of the bio bubble on 23rd of June as soon as the World Test Championship final ended. So he was on a legitimate break.
Yeah, but
why have then, you know, I guess the bigger question is, if there are two tournaments and you're meant to be in bio bubbles in both these tournaments, why have that 20-day break in between during which anything can happen? Was that then...
Legitimate break doesn't mean that you have the freedom to just roam around freely. I mean, even legitimate break, there are certain conditions. If you see the contract which would have been handed over to them, it doesn't mean that you can just go around freely. There are certain exemptions. There will be certain protocols to be followed. You can go in an open space. You can't be going to a crowded place.
Ankita, I'll take up that question that you just asked about why they were given this 20-day break. That's because BCCI realizes, and Virat Kohli at the beginning of the tour had said that cricketers can't be in a bio bubble all round the year because, you know, it's a lot of stress being in that kind of a situation where they are totally away from the rest of the world, so they have to be given breaks, and the cricket teams have to consider that certain players cannot keep up with the pressures of bio bubble and will be exiting from tours. To give them that break, the Indian cricket management thought that the cricketers are allowed to go away for 20 days and then reassemble.
Does this all then beg a larger question about having sporting tournaments at all at this time? You know, we have the example of an Olympic Games now just days away in Tokyo, where there will be no spectators at all. We've seen a rising COVID graph, perhaps because of events like the Euro and Wimbledon in the United Kingdom. Does this then really sort of raise larger questions about that also?
It does, Ankita. If you look at it, you know, Euro has been organized successfully. Copa America has been organized, you know, successfully. So people are like Rika said, people are sick and tired of bio bubble. I have stayed in a bio bubble doing my commentary job. I know how sickening it is, and hats off to the Indian cricket team who are almost in bio bubble for an entire year. It is not an easy thing to do. But as we said before, like Vijay also said, Rika also said, they should have been a little bit more responsible.
Okay.
That is all we are saying.
We're
not criticizing them, but the fact is they should have been more responsible. You know, looking at what happened to the English cricket team, you know, how they have to bring up the second or third 11. So somewhere along the line, you know, you can't throw caution to the winds when things are so difficult. We can't wish COVID away so soon.
Ankita, when Copa America was happening over a month, 82 people were found corona positive during that period. The tournament went on. The question that you asked was also asked to Thomas Buck yesterday, the head of IOC, and he said that if Olympics was not held at this time, world would have lost a generation of athletes who've now been waiting for 5 years. So the show must go on with protocols in place.
All right. But despite that, obviously, there are going to be these instances along the way of people who not only fall sick themselves, but then put others, including their team members, at risk as well. So it's a debate will probably keep happening. For the moment, though, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.